Shalom and welcome once again to Treasures of the Torah. I'm Pastor Matt McKeown, and this week our Torah portion is Ki-Tetse. There is a verse in Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 10 that says this: when you go out to war on your enemies, and that's the operative word there, that's the proper way to translate that into English, on your enemies, not against, the Lord your God shall deliver them into your hands. Now, why do I make this specific mention of the word on your enemies? Let me read to you a beautiful passage from the commentary called the Hasidic Masters. Here's what it says. The Hebrew phrase al oivecha, on your enemies, can also be understood in the literal sense of on top of your enemies. In every battle, the way to achieve victory is to gain the higher ground. We must never stoop to the level of evil to fight it on its own terms. In the words of our sages, one who wrestles with a filthy person, they become dirtied as well. Rather, we should rise above it, affirming our belief that there is no true existence other than God, and that nothing contrary to His goodness and truth has any real power. When our going to war is in a manner of on your enemies, we are guaranteed that God shall deliver them into our hands. This is really special, I think. This idea of taking the higher ground. I think a lot of times people feel as if they must fight the enemy by being in the ditches and ruts where the enemy likes to hide. This is not the case. We must always achieve the higher ground. We must elevate. We must not try to fight evil at its own level. I love this use of the word stoop. We should never stoop to the level of sinfulness or of bad reputation or behavior that the enemy would stoop to. What we must do is to take the higher ground, to give God the glory, so that the Lord Himself will deliver them into our hands. This reminds me when it says that the sages talk about one who wrestles with a filthy person. In my country, I'm not sure how it is in yours, but in my country, when political opponents begin to go against one another in a personal way, when they begin to lodge personal attacks or even name-calling, there's a particular phrase that we have in English that is used to describe what's going on here. And that phrase is mud slinging. They're slinging mud. It's interesting. When someone insults you verbally, it is best not to respond in kind. Remember what the Bible says. Do not fight evil with evil. Rather, we need to overcome evil with good. That's what we need to be all about. When someone is stooping to the level of getting down in the dirt and the mud and the mire of this world, let us not stoop down to their level. Let's stay on the high places where the Lord is. Let's stay on the mountain of God. Let's stay there as we fight the evil that will not come up to our level because it is not righteous. Let's allow those who want to wallow in the dirt and the mud to do so. But let us call them up to a higher place, to a higher observance. If they want to stay down there, we are not going to go down to their level. We will rather try to raise them up to ours. I hope this has been inspiring to you and maybe even has spoken to a specific situation in your life. Don't stoop down to play in the dirt with those that live there. If you'd like to join the yeshiva where I study, it's called Yeshivat Shuvu. You can go to shuvu.tv and fill out an application to join us there in study. May God richly bless you. Shabbat Shalom.